Countless images flashed through his mind. After about a minute, Hanju finally found the mysterious domain where Hantua was. This domain was sealed by a mysterious and powerful restriction. No wonder the evil heavenly emperor said that he couldn't escape. Hanju's eyes narrowed. He raised his right hand and pointed his index finger in Hantuo's direction. A terrifying aura spread out, shocking the sages. They looked at him in shock. How terrifying! Heavenly Venerate Xian Du was scared out of his wits. This aura! He instantly thought of his teacher. His previous sensation was true. Hanju was really as powerful as his teacher. No wonder he could always easily kill the enemy every time he attacked. So he was a great Dao sage. The other sages didn't think of this. They only stared at Hanju in awe. Li Daokong, Fang Liang, Huang Zuantian, and the other sages enslaved by the primordial heavenly prison all looked at Hanju in admiration. Shidu Dao's eyes also flashed with surprise. What realm was Hanju at? Hanju's index finger suddenly shot out a sword chi and instantly rushed into the dark forbidden zone, disappearing without a trace. Heaven Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger. Every time Hanju broke through, he would increase his sword Dao mystical powers. This mystical power also increased to the Great Dao level. Of course, it only had the power of the Great Dao and didn't have the profundities of the Great Dao mystical power itself. Hanju specially used the Dharma idol fusion technique to gather the power of many Dharma idols and fuse them into the Heaven Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger. Among them, it included the Traversal Fiend Celestial, the Space-Splitting Fiend Celestial, the Destruction Fiend Celestial, the Time Fiend Celestial, the Space Fiend Celestial, the Strength Fiend Celestial, and so on. This attack had to penetrate the mysterious spatial restriction and give the evil Heavenly Emperor and the others a way to escape. In the blood-colored starry sky, the evil Heavenly Emperor, Han Tuo, Yi Tian, Zhou Fan, and dozens of generals gathered on a huge rock. A huge circle of light wrapped around them and helped them resist the attacks from all directions. They stared at the battle between the inauspicious Divine Emperor and the chaotic Fiend Celestial in the distance. The descendants of the chaotic Fiend Celestial were densely packed. More and more of them crawled onto the body of the inauspicious Divine Emperor like ants eating an elephant. The scene was extremely terrifying. The evil Heavenly Emperor sighed and looked at Han Tuo. I've already visited your father in his dreams. I asked him to say one last thing to you. He hopes that you won't die too cowardly. Hearing this, Han Tuo's expression changed. The fear and despair in his eyes immediately disappeared. Hanju's words seemed to inject the last bit of strength into him, making him feel refreshed. Yi Tian looked at him enviously. He still had his family to entrust him with before he died. This was what he yearned for the most and was the most impossible thing. Also standing up as if he was on steroids, Zhou Fan roared, "That's right. My master is right. We chose this path. Since we want to fight, we'll die in battle. How can we wait for death here? If you want to die, die exhausted instead of waiting for the enemy to tear us apart." The generals and heavenly generals of the Great Dao Tower were stimulated. They stood up and roared to encourage themselves. The current situation was already a dead end. It was impossible for anyone to save them. The heavenly Dao was so far away. Even a pseudo-sage might not be able to find the way to the heavenly Dao. The evil heavenly emperor was also encouraged by them. He thought of Hanju's words and felt that they were directed at him. The reason why he sent a dream to Hanju was not to seek help. He originally wanted the Great Dao Concealing Fiend Celestial to save Han Tuo. At least, he wouldn't let Hanju down. However, the Great Dao Concealing Fiend Celestial was helpless. He said that Hanju had grasped a summoning mystical power and might be able to save his son himself. Unfortunately, Hanju's words meant that he couldn't save his son either. He would die, anyway. Then, he would die a spectacular death. The evil heavenly emperor suddenly stood up. Dragon Chi erupted and transformed into 9 golden dragons that broke through the circle of light. This time, their last defense was gone and they could only fight to the death. Children of the heavenly court, I've wronged you. I can only die with you. The evil heavenly emperor's voice resounded throughout the starry sky. The eyes of the heavenly troops turned red. They didn't blame the evil heavenly emperor. Instead, they had no regrets. In every battle, the evil heavenly emperor would follow them. He never watched from the back and was never afraid of death. They did not regret following such a master. Kill! 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 The heavenly troops shouted in unison. Although there were not many of them, they were extremely infectious. The generals of the Great Tao Tower were also stimulated. They all had the heart to die without regrets. Zhou Fan took out the Great Tao Tower, and it quickly rose. At this moment, a terrifying pressure descended, causing the shouts to instantly stop. The fighting inauspicious Divine Emperor and chaotic Fiend Celestial suddenly stopped as if the scene had frozen. They turned around and looked behind the evil Heavenly Emperor and the others. Sensing their gazes, the evil Heavenly Emperor and the others were all frightened. Facing the gaze of the Great Tao Sage, they could not withstand it. Boom! The evil Heavenly Emperor, Zhou Fan, Han Tuo, Yi Tian, and the others heard a deafening roar from behind. They subconsciously wanted to turn around, but before they could see anything, a terrifying sword chi flashed past their heads and attacked the chaotic Fiend Celestial with a domineering aura. All the Fiend Celestial soldiers along the way turned into dust by the sword chi. The evil Heavenly Emperor and the others widened their eyes as they watched the sword chi pierce through the chaotic Fiend Celestial's body. The blood-colored starry sky seemed to be torn apart by the sword chi, splitting the scene in front of them into 2. Shocking! Spectacular! They were all dumbfounded, their minds blank. The evil Heavenly Emperor reacted the fastest. He seemed to have thought of something and suddenly turned around. A huge black hole appeared behind him, connecting to another void. Run! The restriction is broken. The evil Heavenly Emperor roared angrily, waking everyone up. They turned around and rushed into the black hole, quickly leaving the blood-colored starry sky. The evil Heavenly Emperor looked back. The inauspicious Divine Emperor took advantage of the chaotic Fiend Celestial's injuries and immediately attacked. That sword chi! The evil Heavenly Emperor revealed a look of disbelief. It was Hanju! It was Hanju's aura! How could he be so powerful? He broke through the restriction that even the Great Tao Concealment Fiend Celestial could not break with a single strike and even injured the chaotic Fiend Celestial. The evil Heavenly Emperor felt that his understanding was subverted by Hanju again. The first time was because of Hanju's talent. This time, it was overturned by Hanju's strength. The others were very excited after surviving the calamity. Itian couldn't help but curse. Damn it! We can escape even in this situation? How many times has it been? Your Majesty, the mighty figure backing you is too strong. He's simply omnipotent. The evil Heavenly Emperor smiled bitterly. It was not the mighty figure behind him. It was clearly. The evil Heavenly Emperor couldn't help but look at Han Tuo. Han Tuo felt his gaze and his eyelids twitched. Could it be? Could it be my father? How is that possible? He's stronger than the chaotic Fiend Celestial? Han Tuo was shocked and roared in his heart. The impact of this possibility was too strong. It surpassed surprise. He was so shocked that he forgot his surprise. Han Tuo looked at the evil heavenly emperor again, but the latter had already retracted his gaze. However, Han Tuo would never forget the evil heavenly emperor's gaze. It was definitely not an illusion. He wasn't immortal. How could he be mistaken? Han Tuo couldn't accurately read the evil heavenly emperor's eyes, but he firmly believed that it was related to the sword Qi just now. When Zhou Fan heard Yi Tian's words, he was also excited. He looked at the evil heavenly emperor and said excitedly, "Your Majesty, are you still hiding it? Tell us who is it so that we can know who our benefactor is." Zhou Fan widened his eyes. The others were also shocked. Because of Han Tuo and Zhou Fan, they often heard of Han Zhu. Wasn't he a heavenly Dao sage? How could he support them? That sword Qi just now came from the heavenly Dao? Impossible! How far away was that? Everyone was shocked and hurriedly abandoned this thought. Could it be that Han Zhu was already nearby? This was the only possibility. "Master, where are you?" Zhou Fan shouted excitedly. He had the same guess as the others, thinking that Han Zhu was nearby. It was really his father. Yi Tian looked at him strangely and muttered, "So the backing of the heavenly court is not because of his majesty, but because of you." He was very puzzled. He used to think that Han Tuo was an orphan like him. In the end, he was the only orphan. Han Tuo did not reply. His mood was also a mess. Yi Tian's words made him understand that the previous times he had escaped danger were all because of his father. Although his father did not care about him on the surface, he always stood up for him at critical moments. The more Han Tuo thought about it, the more he felt that he was not a good person. He had yet to repay his father for raising him and giving birth to him. Occasionally, he would blame his father for not taking care of him. The evil heavenly emperor did not say anything else and quickly left with everyone. Heavenly Dao, outside the 33rd heaven. Han Zhu put down his right hand after seeing that the evil heavenly emperor and the others were out of danger. The sages heaved a sigh of relief when they felt his aura dissipate. Li Daokong couldn't help but ask, "Sect Master, how's the situation?" Han Zhu looked at them and smiled. "It's nothing. It's just a private matter. I was busy saving my son just now and didn't have time to answer everyone. Disperse. The heavenly Dao is not in danger." The sages were stunned. They all knew that Han Zhu had a son named Han Tuo. He had long left the heavenly Dao. Could it be that he had just passed by the heavenly Dao? Why didn't they capture it? Heavenly Venerate Xian Du and Heavenly Venerate Wu Fa thought of something and their expressions changed slightly. Legend had it that great Dao sages could cross the chaos to attack. Han Zhu was a great Dao sage. Han Zhu disappeared. Sect Master Tianzhu shook his head and laughed. If fellow Daoist Pan was here, I wonder what his expression would be. The South Extreme Heavenly Venerate smiled. He definitely won't dare to be arrogant anymore. Fellow Daoist Han's aura just now was much stronger than Pan Xian's. The other sages nodded. Shi Dudao pondered. For some reason, he felt that Han Zhu was related to the Dark Forbidden Lord. It was very likely that Han Zhu was the Dark Forbidden Lord. How could such a powerful existence be hidden in the Heavenly Dao? Of course, he was only guessing. In any case, he was already following the Dark Forbidden Lord. It was good if Han Zhu was the Dark Forbidden Lord. At least, it was not a loss to get close to the hidden sect. Actually, it's a good thing that he didn't see it. Heavenly Venerate Wu Fa suddenly smiled. Seeing his smile, the sages felt a chill. This fellow was too vicious. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du shook his head and left. Han Zhu's strength made him feel that he should reevaluate the Heavenly Dao. Perhaps the Heavenly Dao could increase its pace of expansion. After returning to the Taoist temple, Hanju stared at the evil heavenly emperor and the others. After confirming that they were really out of danger, he retracted his gaze. He saw the inauspicious divine emperor and the chaotic fiend celestial. Both of them were very strong, especially that chaotic fiend celestial. Even if it did not have a soul, it could still resist the inauspicious divine emperor and even faintly gain the upper hand. The chaos is really full of hidden talents. Hanju sighed. His attention landed on the Great Tao Concealment Fiend Celestial next. The Great Tao Concealment Fiend Celestial wanted to lure him out. It was unknown if it was a friend or foe. Hanju couldn't be bothered to calculate. He had no grudge with the Great Tao Concealing Fiend Celestial, and it was the evil Heavenly Emperor's backing. There was no reason for it to be his enemy. Continue cultivating. Hanju closed his eyes. This time, he had to cultivate for 5,000 years, uninterrupted. It was useless even if the Heavenly Emperor came. No one can stop my determination. 5,000 years later. Hanju opened his eyes and heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally entered seclusion for a full 5,000 years. Awesome! However, the increase in cultivation was too slow. Hanju began to hesitate. Should he raise the threshold of seclusion to 10,000 years? His eyes narrowed as Li Xian'eo appeared in front of him. Li Xian'eo had been waiting outside for more than 1,000 years and had left several times. Seeing Hanju, Li Xian'eo couldn't help but ask, "Sect Master, why has your seclusion period changed?" Hanju said, "There was a delay earlier. You can start calculating from today." Li Xian'eo nodded. He did not dare to continue asking. After all, he was a subordinate. How could he blame the sect master? He said, "Sect Master, I want to bring out the prodigies I sent in previously. I plan to bring them to the chaotic heavenly road." He began to talk about his plan. Li Xian'eo's expression was solemn. He seemed to have thought of something and said seriously, "Sect Master is right. I will definitely manage it strictly." Seeing his expression, Hanju guessed the truth. However, it was enough to remind him. How could there be a force that didn't make mistakes? It was good that he could change it. An hour later, Li Xian'eo went to gather the prodigies. Qinling was also among them. Hanju waved his hand and sent them out. After leaving the 100-peak Immortal River, the geniuses were all in a daze. The others echoed. That's right. The spirit chi of the hidden sect Tao field is too abundant. I'm a little regretful. Hearing the words of the geniuses, Li Xian'eo shook his head and laughed. As he led them forward, his gaze landed on Qinling. He was still looking forward to this genius who was under his senior. He wouldn't have known if he had not seen it. He was shocked now. After Shen Qingjun finished speaking, Hanju said, "Actually, you don't have to report to me. I know everything." The 5 women were stunned and couldn't help but revere his cultivation. The Holy Mother sect was so far away from the 100-peak Immortal River, but Hanju could actually see everything. "Since you're finally back, I'll preach to you," he muttered. The 5 women looked happy and nodded. The great Tao of extreme origin covered the Taoist temple. 50 years later, Hanju ended the lecture and let them rest first. Li Yao stayed behind. The other 4 women pretended not to see this and left. Hanju asked, "Why did your ancestor send you a dream? You can see him visiting me in my dreams? Aren't you stronger than him?" At that time, she had cautiously asked Li Zizai. Li Zizai was full of confidence and said that no one would discover. He deliberately said that with the intention of intimidating her. Although Li Yao's favorability was still 6 stars, everyone had their own ambitions. He did not want her to go against him. Back then, The family married her off for benefits. She resisted and was hunted down. When she was in despair, Hanju helped. If not for him, even if she didn't resist, she would probably have died in the previous calamity. Hanju smiled. I thought you were going to run away with your ancestor. Liao shook her head. Impossible. His Dao technique is average. He might be hiding something from me. I wonder how many disciples of the Li family are like me. Pseudo-sage was already the ceiling for 99% of the geniuses. They couldn't take another step forward all their lives. Liao's eyes lit up. I'm not afraid of pain. As for loyalty, I'm already yours. How can I betray you? The way she said that. Liao nodded. She leaned forward and began to strip. Hanju frowned. What are you doing? I'm not threatening you. Liao said, I just want to try the cultivation technique I obtained previously. I wonder how wonderful it is to cultivate with a mighty figure like you. Hearing this, Hanju's brows relaxed. He did not like to force others, but it was fine if the other party took the initiative. It was good to relax occasionally. What happened after that was not for mortals to see. In the blink of an eye, half a year passed. After Liao and Hanju fought for 2 months, Xian Qingjun came next and fought for another 4 months. During this period, Xian Qingjun also wanted to give birth to a child for Hanju, but he rejected her. Xing Hongshuan's son was not even born yet. He couldn't create another problem now. He would think about it in the future. Xian Qingjun also knew Xing Hongshuan's situation and did not insist. Before Hanju cultivated, he sent Liao and Xian Qingjun out. They planned to return to Cultivate, but before that, they still had to deal with the aftermath and find a good successor for the Holy Mother sect. They would return in another 5,000 years. Hanju closed his eyes and started cultivating again. On the other side, outside the Suisan RD heaven, Pan Xian, Jinshen, and Emperor Shao gathered in the hall. Pan Xian and Jinshen were both exhausted. Emperor Shao stared at Pan Xian and hesitated. He wanted to tell him about Hanju's strength, but he was afraid of hurting him. If Pan Xian was not convinced and directly challenged Hanju, it would definitely be a disaster for the heavenly Tao. Emperor Shao had his own vision. He could fight for power, but he had to ensure that the heavenly Tao was not implicated. Pan Xian said, the situation in the chaos has suddenly changed. Recently, a large faction has appeared and swept through the chaos. The chaotic heavenly road is also threatened. This matter is not optimistic. Fellow Daoist Shao, can you gather the devils to guard it? The devil race had always existed, but they did not appear in the heavenly Tao collectively. Emperor Shao frowned. The devils under me don't have a sage. How can they have the strength to guard it? Pan Xian waved his hand. Make the arrangements first. I'll discuss with the other sages. With that, he stood up and left, not giving Emperor Shao a chance to refuse. After Pan Xian headed to the Universal Hall, Emperor Shao couldn't help but tell Jinshen about Hanju's performance. After Jinshen learned of this, his expression changed drastically, but he did not panic. He already knew Pan Xian's attitude towards Hanju. Emperor Shao was moved. Could it be that Pan Xian had also changed sides? This situation was too familiar. Emperor Zhao's face paled. He suddenly felt that he was the only one in the entire sage circle who did not worship Hanju. To Jinshen, he had no choice but to join Pan Xian. He had no objections to whoever Pan Xian followed. In the entire sage circle, only Hanju's faction had never suppressed him. The Panga Hall fell silent. The two sages were each thinking about their own matters. In the darkness, a white jade stone staircase stretched across the void. Han Tuo followed the evil heavenly emperor. Han Tuo wore silver armor and looked the same as before. The previous 2 vertical eyes on his forehead were nowhere to be seen. The evil heavenly emperor smiled. To visit a senior of mine. It's all thanks to him that I was able to establish the heavenly court. Han Tuo asked curiously, is it the previous one? The evil heavenly emperor shook his head. Don't think about that person from before. He has long transcended the battle of the chaos. The senior we're meeting now is also a chaotic fiend celestial. Han Tuo was even more curious about that mysterious senior. The 2 of them continued forward. After walking for an unknown period of time, a door of light suddenly appeared on the white jade stone steps ahead. The evil heavenly emperor easily pushed it open, and the 2 of them entered one after another. Han Tuo was about to ask the evil heavenly emperor when he suddenly bowed. Seeing this, Han Tuo hurriedly followed suit. A loud voice sounded, and the lingering sound shook Han Tuo's Dao heart. Han Tuo was secretly shocked. He was already a sage, but he couldn't help but feel reverence towards the chaotic fiend celestial. The evil heavenly emperor smiled. Tuo's potential is indeed impressive. Our heavenly court still needs him to fight in all directions. I came to find you this time because I hope that you can teach him the fiend celestial body. He has already absorbed the blood of a chaotic fiend celestial. In essence, he's already a chaotic fiend celestial. It is said that every chaotic fiend celestial has their own true body. After awakening their true body, their strength will increase exponentially. I can't do it, so I can only find you to teach him. Han Tuo had already revealed his true body when he attained the Tao, but he couldn't open it again. The loud voice smiled. Sure, but shouldn't you make my cooperation with the heavenly court clearer? The loud voice did not reply immediately. The atmosphere fell silent. Han Tuo was uneasy. It seemed that the evil heavenly emperor was not as close to this person as he had imagined. If this child obtains my inheritance, in the future, he has to kill a sage for me. The loud voice sounded again. The evil heavenly emperor frowned. Han Tuo couldn't help but say, who is it? Don't expect me to kill my father. He had seen many such scenes. Many mighty figures like to scheme against the enemy like this, causing the enemy to betray their family and break up. Haha, that's naturally impossible. I'm the Great Tao Concealment Fiend Celestial. I've attained the Great Tao for billions of years. Your father, Han Ju, has only just entered the Great Tao realm. If I want to be enemies with him, I can attack him myself. Besides, I have no grudge with him. The sage I want you to kill happens to be from the deity realm of the ruins of End. He's also an enemy of your heavenly Tao. The loud voice laughed wantonly. Han Tuo heaved a sigh of relief. The evil heavenly emperor said, I'm sorry, this child speaks without thinking. I apologize to you on his behalf. Can you tell us who that sage is? The Great Tao Concealment Fiend Celestial snorted. There's no harm in telling you. The leader of the ancestral magi, Di Jiang. The evil heavenly emperor was moved. Han Tuo did not react. Although he had heard of the legend of Di Jiang, he did not know him. The Great Tao Concealment Fiend Celestial did not say anything. Han Tuo said, Your Majesty, it's fine. I can kill him. If you're really worried, I don't want this inheritance. The evil heavenly emperor glanced at him and shook his head slightly. The Great Tao Concealment Fiend Celestial's voice sounded, Humph, brat, you're bargaining with me again. If not for the fact that I owe your father a favor, I would have long killed you. The evil heavenly emperor smiled. If not for Senior's help, I would have long died in the heavenly Tao immeasurable calamity. Actually, I've always treated you as my father, but the difference in status is too great. I don't dare to cross the line. Han Tuo blinked and listened. Forget it. As long as you can help me kill Di Jiang, it's fine no matter who kills him. Let this child stay here. You can leave. Are you worried about me? No, but I'm afraid that he'll be afraid. The evil heavenly emperor gave Han Tuo a look. Hee hee. The great Tao concealment fiend Celestial sneered, but he did not refuse. 1,000 years later. In the void, on the white jade stone steps. The evil heavenly emperor and Han Tuo walked out of the door of light and walked in the direction they came from. Han Tuo walked like a tiger in high spirits. His body was much stronger than when he came. The evil heavenly emperor smiled and asked, "How do you feel?" Han Tuo said, "I feel that my entire body is filled with strength. It's more than several times stronger than before. I'll be reborn if I activate the fiend celestial true body. I can't wait to fight." His tone was filled with excitement. Han Tuo asked in surprise, "Why do you want to return to the heavenly Tao?" He already knew about the evil heavenly emperor's past. There might be war when he returned. To lead the heavenly Tao to the chaos. Don't worry, I'm not going back to take revenge. Hatred is a lesson. It's not enough to trap me. This matter was entrusted by Heavenly Venerate Xian Yu. After the chaotic heavenly road was opened, more and more chaotic races and factions hid near it and plundered the heavenly Tao cultivators. The heavenly Tao needs the power of the heavenly court. The heavenly court needs to obtain a large number of heavenly troops from the heavenly Tao. It's a win-win situation. The evil heavenly emperor replied, causing Han Tuo to look at him in admiration. He had followed the evil heavenly emperor for a long time. He had watched him bring the heavenly court to greater heights and was deeply impressed by his methods and boldness. In Han Tuo's opinion, the cooperation with the heavenly Tao was perfect. It could make up for the lack of manpower in the heavenly court. If he was the evil heavenly emperor, even if heavenly venerate Xian Du looked for him, he would probably find it difficult to make up his mind. After all, the evil heavenly emperor was expelled by the heavenly Tao in the past. After we return, if your father visits you in your dreams, don't tell him what the great Tao concealment fiend celestial wants us to do. Pangu's karma is too great. If it affects your father, it will be very difficult for him to cultivate in peace in the future. The evil heavenly emperor reminded. Han Tuo nodded. I understand. The two of them walked side by side. Their figures gradually disappeared at the end of the white jade stone steps, as if they were walking towards eternity. Inside the Taoist temple, Hanju opened his eyes and stretched. Another 5,000 years passed. He wanted to increase his seclusion time to 10,000 years. At this rate, it was almost impossible to break through a minor realm in 100,000 years. Too slow. Since it was slow, he could only numb himself and speed up his cultivation time. This way, when he looked back, his breakthrough speed would be faster. Hanju thought of this and looked at Li Yao and Xian Qingjun outside the 100-peak Immortal River. Beside Xian Qingjun was a girl with an exquisite and cute face wearing a grass dress. She was a flower spirit. Hanju cautiously used the simulation trial to test. He discovered that this woman was only a Grand Unity Heaven Immortal and didn't have a powerful background, so he let down his guard. With a thought, he moved the two women into the 100-peak Immortal River and not into his Taoist temple.